Ram Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Jai Jai Shri Radha Madhav Ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you all for joining today. So we shall begin now. The sloka number 3.42. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om. We shall now start reciting the sloka. Is anybody there who wants to recite?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji, thank you. Because sloka number 3.4. Indriyani Paryani Ahur.
Indriyani parani ahur.
Indriyabhya Param Manaha.
Indriyebhyah param manah.
Manasastu Parabuddhir.
Manasastu para buddhir.
Yo Buddhe Paratastu Saha.
Yo buddhehe paratastu saha.
Indriyani Parayani Ahur. Indriyabhya Param Manaha.
Indriyani parani ahur. Indriyebhyah param manah.
Manasastu Parabuddhir. Yo Buddhe Paratastu Saha.
Manasastu para buddhiryo buddhe paratastu saha.
Indriyani Paryani Ahur. Indriyabhya Param Manaha.
Indriyani paranyahur indriyebhyah param manah.
Manasastu Parabuddhiryo Buddhi Paratastu Saha.
Manasastu para buddhiryo buddhe paratastu saha.
So we shall go to the word meaning translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Indriyani, senses, Parani, superior, Ahu, are said, Indrebhya, more than the senses, Param, superior, Manaha, the mind, Manasaha, more than the mind, Tu, also, Para, superior, Buddhi, intelligence, Yaha, who, Buddhi, more than intelligence, Parata, superior, Tu, but, Saha, he. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The working senses are superior to dull matter. Mind is higher than the senses. Intelligence is still higher than the mind, and the soul is even still higher than the intelligence. We shall read the purport. Everybody, if you have the Bhagavad Gita book with you, can open to page number 186 or the respective pages. Okay. Purport. This says that the senses are different outlets for the activities of lust. Lust is reserved within the body, but it is went out through the senses. Therefore, the senses are superior to the body as a whole. These outlets are not in use when there is superior consciousness or Krishna consciousness. In Krishna consciousness, the soul makes direct connection with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, the hierarchy of the bodily functions are described here, ultimately ends in the Supreme Soul. Bodily action means the functions of the senses, and the stopping the senses means stopping the whole bodily actions. But since mind is active, then even though the body may be silent and at rest, the mind will act. It does as it does during dreaming. But above the mind is the determination of the I'm sorry. But above the mind is the determination of the intelligence, and above the intelligence is the soul proper. Therefore, if the soul is directly engaged engaged with the supreme, naturally all other subordinates, namely the intelligence, the mind, the senses, will be automatically engaged. In the Katha Upanishad, there is a similar passage in which it is said that the object of sense gratification are superior to the senses. The mind is superior to the sense objects. Therefore, the mind is directly engaged. If therefore the mind is directly engaged in the service of the Lord constantly, then there is no chance that the senses will become engaged in other ways. The mental attitude has already been explained. Param drastva nivartate. If the mind is engaged in the transcendental service of the Lord, there is no chance of being engaged in the lower propensities. In the Katha Upanishad, the soul has been described as Mahan, great. Therefore, the soul is above all, namely the sense objects. The senses, the mind, the intelligence. Therefore, directly understanding the constitutional position of the soul is the solution to the whole problem. With intelligence, one has to seek out the constitutional position of the soul and then engage the mind always in Krishna consciousness. That solves the whole problem. A neophyte spiritualist is generally advised to keep aloof of the objects of the senses. But aside from that, one has to strengthen his mind by use of intelligence. If intelligence, one engages one's mind, Krishna consciousness, by complete surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then automatically the mind becomes stronger. And even though the senses are very strong, like the serpents, like the pangs of the serpents, there will be more effective than the serpents of the broken fangs. But even though the soul is the master of the intelligence, the senses also still, unless it is strengthened by the association with Krishna and Krishna consciousness, there is every chance of falling down due to the agitated mind. Hare Krishna. So we are going through this purport that we are always falling a prey of our senses. Here, I can share. Anybody able to see the screen over here? These are the senses are the different outlets. So there are the different outlets. That is the sight. Eyes is a one outlet. It is a very, very vibrant outlet. Even though sight is there, even if the eyes are closed, then another vibrant sense is there. That is the sense of hearing. Even if you are sleeping deep sleep, it is said that you will be hearing so many things. So the sense of hearing is very, very vibrant. And the sense of taste. Then comes the sense of touch. Then comes the sense of smells. These are the five senses. And these five senses are centralized around the peripherals of the brain, where all the inputs are going to the brain. So this brain, or the mind, we call the brain is the physical substance and the mind is the subtle substance. So this is what we need to understand. Of these senses, there are three types of elements. One is the Sukshma Sharira. Okay, just let me stop share for you. Let me go with explaining. Yeah. So here it is said that the mind is the subtle body. Okay. Sorry for the disturbance. Just give me a minute. Yeah, here we go. So here it is said that the mind can be our best friend, or at the same time, it is our greatest enemy. So the mind can be actually tuned in such a way that it can be always your friend. That is what we are going to learn in Krishna consciousness. How we can train the mind to be our best friend. If we leave it alone, and if we are going to listen to the mind, then he becomes our greatest enemy. So once what happened, there was this a group of people who have been addressed to, and the speaker asked the group of people, "Who is your best friend?" It happened to be a small group of children, young children, and immediately the one young girl shot up and said, he is my greatest enemy." So the other side, next question was, "Who is your best friend?" Best friend is somebody says somebody's name. So like this, actually, the best friend and the best enemy are not the physical components or the physical person who are actually we see in our eyes. So it is the mind. It is our mind. The mind is the most subtle thing that says that it becomes the best friend or the best enemy. So how we can use this mind in a proper sense? Let us try to understand this. So it is a very good subject to discuss about. So this mind can be taken away by different attitudes, role models, everything. Okay, this mind is a huge storehouse. Like in a computer, the hard disk. The hard disk is the computer hard disk stores n number of what do you say inputs. Okay, these inputs will be in the hard disk, and it will reproduce as soon as you use the key when you key in the command. When you key in the command, automatically the output comes. Like this, in our human body, the eyes, whatever we see, are stored in the mind. Whether you like it or not, the moment you see, it is captured. There is a space reserved for that. It automatically gets captured. And whatever you hear also gets captured. So you might sometimes experience in your childhood a very vibrant music or a very vibrant speech of somebody you like the most is still echoing in your mind. How is it happening? Because the mind has that propensity. So we should know what to do, how to do. So how we can actually train this mind. This mind is very uncontrolled. It is said that mind is like a monkey. Why it is said mind is like a monkey? This moment you will think something, next moment you will think something, the next moment you will jump to something else, the next moment you go do something else, the next moment you leave everything and you do something which is not at all related to that. Like this, the mind is always uncontrolled. So how we can control this mind? Mind can be controlled. See, I'll give you a beautiful example. All of you would have come across in your life the Madari dance. Anybody is familiar with the Madari dance? This word, Madari dance? Can anybody recall? Okay, I'll tell it for you. The Madari dance means that there is a Madari. A Madari means he's the one who controls the monkeys. It happens so there are two monkeys or four monkeys or five monkeys, whatever you call it. Okay. One monkey, the Madari, he'll play a specific tune. Okay. He will play a specific tune, and according to the tune, that monkey will dance. Okay. And monkey will dance in such a way that it is supposed to be a female monkey. It will get dressed up like a bride. Okay. It will wear all the ornaments, the earrings, the nose rings, the necklace, the dress, everything. It will start in a sequence according to the tune it will be wearing, and it will be get ready to attract the opposite monkey. So like this, and then it goes. The story goes like that. The monkey story goes like that. Finally, they will end up in this monkey will marry the other monkey. So how it happens? You said just now we spoke about that mind is a monkey. Monkey means it will not do one thing. But even such a monkey can be trained means the same mind monkey can be trained. Training is the most important thing we have to undergo. So how we can undergo this training? So like this. So before I would like to recall, before I came to Krishna consciousness, I was trying to listen to my mentor saying that, yes, you take the chanting beat, you start chanting. And I used to reply, Prabhu, what Prabhu? You're telling me to chant, but I'm not at all able to chant. Why? Why are you not able to chant? I'm just giving you the mantra. So here, the mantra. So for the monkey, the Madari gave the mantra. What mantra did he give? The beats. The beats he gave. When the beats started playing, according to the beats, the monkey started dancing. The same way, we are all given the beats. Who has given the beats for us? Srila Gurudev. And also is given the mantra. That mantra is called Tarak Brahma Mantra. So what is the Tarak Brahma Mantra? It is called as Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is the beautiful mantra. How long does it take? 10 seconds? Not even that. That we are not able to do. So that is what is our training. So we have to get trained under a proper mentor, under a proper guide. Once we are trained, then we have to master. Once we are mastered, then we have to practice. So like this only, everything by training, we can actually able to control our mind. So it is not that mind is a monkey, we cannot control our mind. My mind nature is that I cannot control the mind. My mind I cannot control. It's not that. Everything can be controlled. But how? It has to have a proper pathway. That proper pathway is what we learn in Krishna consciousness. We take to the beach, we sit in a place, and we start chanting this Hare Krishna mantra. Why? Why we chant the same mantra again and again? Because the mind is jumping from different places to different levels. We have to bring back the mind to the same one point of time. That is called getting the mind to one frame. That is getting this different phases of mind, which is traversed from so many decades, so many millenniums, that we have somehow got to association with nice devotees. We have somehow got to association with our great Srila Gurudev, who has given us this wonderful mantra, and the association of people, the group we have made now, and the association we get together, we sing, we dance, we do kirtan, we do different services. Why? Because our mind was very vague. It was listening to so many chit-chatting things of so many other activities, but this mind never comes to control, because there are different ideas. There is no one analogy. So here, the only one analogy is Krishna consciousness. So the only one analogy and the only one mantra is Hare Krishna Mahamantra. By doing this, we can control our mind. By controlling our mind, what are we going to do? Next question. By controlling our mind, we get control of ourselves. Okay. So this is very important. Also, it is told in one of the slokas, and on the same sloka, it is said that Krishna consciousness, in Krishna consciousness, the soul makes the direct connection with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, the hierarchy of the bodily functions, as described here, ultimately ends in the Supreme Soul. So we should never deviate from this concept. So our aim, our thing is get in connection with the Supreme Soul. So bodily action means the functions of the senses, and stopping the senses means stopping the bodily action. So it is very difficult, right, to stop the bodily actions. But since the mind is active, even though the body may be silent, the mind will act as it does during dreaming. This is what is mentioned. Prabhupada has mentioned a beautiful analogy. The body will be silent, but the mind will act. That is during dreaming. How many of you get dreams? Many people, right? All of you get dreams. So here, the above mind is the determination of the intelligence. So mind is determination of intelligence. If you determine the intelligence is Supreme Soul. So when you determine the Supreme Lord and you do the service of the Lord, that is called service. When you do service, automatically the mind gets trained. And above this soul is the super soul. The soul, super soul, or the soul proper. This is called as Supreme Lord Krishna himself. Okay. Now we shall move to the next point. Therefore, if the soul is engaged directly with the Supreme, other subordinate intelligence, mind, senses will automatically get engaged in the service of the Supreme Lord. So in Katha Upanishad also it is said, similar passage in which it is said that objects of gratification are superior to the senses and mind is superior to the sense objects. Very clearly stated, objects of sense gratification are superior to the senses. So senses alone, you cannot control the mind. You cannot control the variations. Senses alone, with senses alone, you cannot do tapasya and do some things. So it is the mind which is superior to the sense objects. So the mind should be connected to the Supreme Soul. By then, directly engage the service of the Lord constantly, and there is no chance that the senses will become engaged in other ways. So this is the wonderful analogy Srila Prabhupada gives in his purport. Also, okay. And then the mental attitude. The mental attitude is already been given, explained. Param dristva nivartate. That means the mind is engaged in the transcendental service of the Lord. There is no chance of being engaged in the lower propensities. If you have seen the picture of a meditating person who has all the chakras, you have seen this sign. Above that, above the head, that is the Turiam, they will say. Above the Turiam, it comes the super soul connection. So that is how you connect to the soul. So if you do by tapas, if you control the mind by breathing techniques and all that, it is going to be a failure because this is Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga, only one mantra. What is that mantra? Tarak Brahma mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this is the only mantra. So, and the working senses are superior to dull matter. Mind is higher than the senses. Intelligence is higher than the mind, but the soul is even higher than the intelligence. So with this, I come to a conclusion that still we can able to control our mind by connecting ourselves to the Supreme Consciousness, and there is no other alternative. No other alternative, because mind is very chanchala. Mind is very chanchala. It has to be trained. That is why when we go to Guru Maharaj gives a stick and he puts it on your head. He says, gives the connection. The charge, connection, the charge is given. Immediately your body gets recharged. That is what he gives protection for you. He says, other things, please move away. He is my disciple. I have come to take care of him. Don't give him disturbance. That is what is Guru Maharaj's blessings for us. So we should try to take it up in a good sense and do our duty properly, do our services. Whatever services comes to us, we should take it up lively and handle it properly. And in a genuine way, we have to perform the senses. By doing senses, during services, we get purification. When we get purification, we can chant nicely. The other way also, when you chant nicely, you will get more services. And by doing more services, you'll get more association. By this, you'll be strong in Krishna consciousness. So this I end today. I'll just give you a small recap of today's PPT, which I have just made. I shall show you the slideshow. If you have any realizations or something, you can just share with me. Yes, here. See, this is the first slide I showed you. This is the mind and the senses. Okay, these are the gateways, the 5 gateways, and the peripheral part is the mind. Okay,
Prabhu,
next.
screen is not visible, Prabhu.
Not visible, Mataji. I think one second. I did share the screen, maybe. Once again. Now, Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. So this is the different types of gateways. These are the 5 gateways, and the 6th one is the mind. Mind is connected to intelligence. Intelligence is directed towards Supreme Soul, and Supreme Soul is the Super Soul, that is Krishna himself. Okay. Yeah, I go to. It's just not moving to the next slide. Once again, yeah. So here it is very nicely say that the working senses are superior to dull matter, and mind is higher than the senses. But intelligence is still higher than the mind, and the soul is still higher than the intelligence. So this is what we have to keep very clear. Intelligence is higher than the mind, and the soul, is even higher than the intelligence. So who is the soul? Soul, super soul. This connection we should not forget. This is how we can associate, daily associating with Srimad Bhagavatam classes, taking part in Sankirtan movement. By this, we can keep engaged our mind and senses properly. And this is the picture I showed you, the meditation thing, no? The chakras, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 chakras. And finally, you go away, leave the body and go. This is all was happening in Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga. Men had mastered their science of meditation. By then, they could go. But in this Kali Yuga, we are not able to do all those things. And this is the little hierarchy. That is, the soul is in the main part of our body. From the soul, we have to reach the super soul. Okay, but above the soul, we are covered with false ego. The false ego is very, 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 very dangerous thing. What is false ego? We say, Prabhu, I will do this, but this I need to do. I need to have my space. I need to have my space. I cannot let go of my what you say, ego. That is the thing. Ego, other sense, you say, yeah, my self-esteem, I will not let go. I will do this for them, but I will not. That is ego. That self-esteem or whatever it's called as ego. If you are not able to let go that false ego, then you will not reach the next platform, the intelligence. You will not able to touch the intelligence. And by intelligence, you can control the mind and then the body. So like this. Hare Krishna. So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. With this, I stop share. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Pranam to all. Any questions? Welcome. Any clarifications? More than questions, you can ask me. Any doubts if you have. So to my knowledge, I will be able to try to explain to you in this subject. I hope you have got some input. You have understood something. Then I think some output will be there. If no input, there is no output. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji.
ನೀವು ಅದು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಿ Madari gives mantra to monkeys. So monkeys can be trained. So when monkeys can be trained, your mind also, our mind also can be trained.
Yes.
Only through the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, Taraka Brahma Mantra. Thank you, Prabhu. So when monkeys can be trained by Madari, so
the mind monkey also can be trained. Our
yes,
mind monkey also
can be trained. And Gurudev has given us Taraka Brahma Mantra.
Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna Maha
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
To enlightening us for that.